Morning. Are you coming in then?
Good morning. What a fantastic show we got lined up for you today. I'm excited about this one because we got Loose Women star Linda Robson will be in the house. She'll be here throughout the morning, tugging into a couple of incredible fish dishes. She was the first guest we ever had on the show. Brilliant. And she's back again. I'll be tasting some more of Spain's favourite produce as my travels take me around the Costa del Sol. And the brilliant Asma Khan will be back. She'll be wowing us again with more authentic Indian flavours. And don't miss this week's little masterclass. We've got an amazing masterclass of everything you want to know about cooking and buying lamb. And that's not all, because I'm joined in the house by two old friends of mine whose restaurants are firm favourites in the North East and the Midlands food scene. It's the brilliant Kenny Atkinson and Glyn Padell. Double Michelin star chefs on the go as well. Yes. And since I've known you, you've just gained another one.
Yes, so last time we were on, Solstice had just been open 6 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got the star, so yeah, now I have...
Deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, even more stress.
Even more stress, yeah. So now we have two one-star restaurants literally on the same street. So.
And I remember talking to you. Oh, this one's not going to be anything fancy. It's going to be simple. It's going to be a cafe-based thing. Look at him, 2 Michelin stars and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Your first time on the show. It's good to have you.
Yeah, very excited. Loving the setup, fantastic.
So and everything works for you. So what have you brought with you from the Midlands? What are you going to do?
So I've been foraging. Funny enough, James.
Really?
Yes, foraging. Not in the city centre because you would find Chris Rapids and other things. Right. So we haven't been foraging in the city centre. So a little river not far from where I live, the River Bourne, so loads of wild garlic. Okay. So it runs up until about June. So I've got some wild garlic, make a nice butter. I'm going to do a sticky short rib. I'm going to serve that with mussels cooked in a wild garlic butter.
Mussels and short rib? How about that? Because you've got into gardening now, haven't you, really?
Yeah, so I've got in the garden now, so yeah, I'll be intrigued.
Take the stress away of working in the restaurant.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
So have you brought anything with the garden, or is it a bit too early for you?
It's a bit too early. We've only had it for about a month now, so...
What are you going to do for us?
So today I'm going to do some beautiful steamed line caught pollock wrapped in some nori. Right. We're going to serve it with some smoked English caviar and some crasta kippers.
Nice, crasta kippers, fantastic.
One of my favourite ingredients ever.
Looking forward to that as well. And if you thought I'd kick things off today with one of my favourite ingredients, really, we're going to do a rhubarb and ginger crumble that I'm making with rhubarb from a very, very special supplier in Yorkshire's famous rhubarb triangle. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to do a rhubarb crumble. Now, this is where rhubarb crumble gets a bit controversial, really, with chefs and everything else. I like rhubarb crumble the proper way. How my granny used to do it. There was no such words of deconstruction and all that kind of stuff. It was basically, I had the rhubarb and I had the crumble all in raw.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about you, because I love that sort of... When it's cooking in the oven, it's the bits that stuck around the edge and everything else. I think if you sort of break it all down and mess around with it too much...
It becomes mush. So that's the way my gran used to cook it for me.
I think that's the best way to do it. So the crumble side of it is equal quantities. We've got some brown sugar. We did have brown sugar, butter and flour. I've just thrown it in there as well. You can use a little bit of Demerara sugar in there if you want to do, but any sugar that's got a bigger grain than castor is what you're looking for. So that gets put into there. And then we're talking about our rhubarb over here, because we've got an amazing selection of rhubarb over here, because we're going to find out where about this rhubarb comes from. So we're heading off to God's own country. It's not Newcastle, it's not Birmingham. It's, of course, Yorkshire, to speak to Janet Oldroyd from E. Oldroyd and Sons. Welcome to the show, Janet.
Thank you, James. Nice to see you again.
Now, it is nice to see you again, because the last time I saw you it was very glam, wasn't it? It was at Buckingham Palace.
We were both very smart, weren't we, that day?
We were both wondering what the hell we were doing there, but what an amazing experience we had. We had lunch with the Queen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was 8 of us, just me and you and 6 other people.
Yes, it was lovely.
It was one of the most magical experiences in our life. But anyway, we're here to talk about this amazing rhubarb that you produce in God's own country. So tell me about the history of the farm, really, because it all stems from your great-grandfather, doesn't it?
It does. He came up from Wisbech. He'd lost everything in the Depression, and he came up here to start again. And from swapping secrets of strawberry growing with a friend, a rhubarb grower, our family went into the rhubarb industry.
So what were they before that?
They were basically strawberry and top fruit growers, so orchards and pig dealers. Right. As well. So nothing to do with rhubarb until they came to Yorkshire.
And why the area? Because people say the world-famous rhubarb triangle, to me, it's as famous as the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. Because there's a mystique about it. What is so special about that piece of land where you are?
Well, rhubarb loves this area. It grows particularly well here. And that's extremely important because the root's in the forcing shed, and that's what people look to Yorkshire, the forced rhubarb, what you've got there. Basically, the roots live outside for a minimum of 2 summers, 3 winters. And in that time, we're building energy up into the root. And once they go into the sheds, they grow from that energy that frost has released to the plant. So it's the climate, the soil, high rainfall. Rhubarb loves moisture.
It's everything in its advantage. Well, now I've been there and I've seen these forcing sheds as well. We've got the forced rhubarb here. Now this is it the same plant as outdoor rhubarb? You just basically produce it outdoors and then bring it in as it starts to shoot up?
You grow the root. You can't take an outdoor crop from it, or else it basically won't build up energy reserves. So the roots outside of different jobs, they're either going to produce outdoor rhubarb or they're going to go into a forcing shed. So 2 totally different jobs, really. But we do rhubarb now. The only months we don't do rhubarb production is November and December.
It is an amazing product as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to chat to the chefs as well because you must use it for all manner of different sweet, savoury sort of ingredients.
We use it on both, yeah. So at the moment, we have a little version of rhubarb and custard on the menu at Solstice at the moment. It's just the acidity, the flavour, and also the colour just screams spring.
But also, I mean, it's brilliant with mackerel and stuff like that. But
mackerel, duck. I think we've got it on with duck with rhubarb and beetroot, and it just lends itself for that sweet and for that savoury sort of.
But this is the forced rhubarb. So I'm right in thinking that when you produce forced rhubarb, and we're going to see shots of it now, which is in the darkened sheds. It's all candlelight. It's picked as well. But when you produce forced rhubarb, the plant is no longer in use after you harvest it, as opposed to outdoor rhubarb, which keeps growing.
It dies, unfortunately. So it takes 2 years to produce those sticks that you've got there, and the root they come from is actually dead now. It basically gives everything like your body would if you were eating anything and you were living off your body fats.
And what am I right in thinking as a child and your grandfather and stuff like that, you weren't allowed in these sheds? It was like a mystique that you weren't allowed to have a look what was in these darkened sheds until you got older.
No, it was a big no-no because naughty children can do a lot of damage on delicate forcing sheds.
Right.
Just falling into the beds would ruin a crop. So, no. So my father said he always remembers his first memory as a child being taken by the hand by his grandfather into that secret world behind that door. And he said he just fell in love with the crop and knew immediately that was what he wanted to do with his life.
Well, I think so. We're going to talk a little bit more in a minute because I've got the rhubarb crumble over here. I'm going to use another produce that's in season at the moment, blood orange. So blood orange rhubarb. I've got the diced rhubarb over here. Now, the great thing about forced rhubarb, you need to add less sugar, I think, with the forced rhubarb that you got. So we got, but I quite like the bitterness in there. I quite like the sharpness in there with rhubarb as well. I think people can make it too sweet. Yeah. But then you take some ginger. So ginger, I love. And we just got some candied ginger over here. You can use ginger and syrup that I'm going to do. But you just chop all this stuff up, and we're going to add that to the mixture. So orange, rhubarb, whiskey, all those sort of ingredients go so well with rhubarb.
But also with blood oranges, is it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Chef, but is it the reason why there are blood oranges? Is it because of the frost when they're on the tree? Which is, again, from what Jack was saying about the rhubarb and the frost before you put it into the forcing.
Exactly, all comes together, really. But we're going to mix this all up as well. Now looking at your farm now and what you're producing, how many tonnes are you producing this a year? Because, like you said, an ingredient that sort of fell out of favour, Janet, after the war, now, you know, your family's stuck at it. You're now producing thousands of tonnes.
We are, but only 300 tonnes of our production is forced. The rest is all outdoor crop.
And how have you found the public perception now? Is that because the popularity of chefs are buying it when it's in season, that makes it more popular? Is that what do you put that down to? People's tastes have changed?
Yes, all of the things you just said. people like tangy flavours, as you know, so blueberries, rhubarb are becoming very popular. But they are two of the most important superfoods. So rhubarb is a very important health food. It's also a diet food. There's only 7 calories per 100 grams, but not in that you're making there.
I'm glad you said that. I just had to have a pack of butter on it. And I've got the custards going on as well. Anyway, it's all yin and yang, John. It's a yin and yang thing, isn't it? But look,
the whole country's convinced that a portion of that is 7 calories.
I was thinking, while you're talking about that, I'm just putting this on the top. Just ruined that, haven't I? But you can. The great thing about forced rhubarb as well, you can just simply cook it. You can roast it simply in the oven as it is, just a little bit of water, stuff like that, sweet or savoury sauce. You take the crumble, and I think the best way of doing the crumble is like this. Pile it all up, so as it cooks, it sort of softens down. You need it in the oven for a good 40 minutes as it cooks like that. That goes in the oven to cook. And I've got one in there. I'm going to do a nice little custard that I've got in here. So I've warmed up some milk, I've warmed up a little bit of vanilla, and I've got some sugar and some eggs. I'm going to make a simple little custard. So before you leave you to it, I know when I was up there, you do these amazing tours as well. You've just started that.
Well, we've been doing them for a number of years now, but we've relocated sites, so we've not got our tourist centre up and running at the moment. So, yeah, people have been, waiting to get back and seeing that rhubarb shed that amazes people.
You weren't allowed in as a kid, now you let tourists in as well. And can you tell me why you pick it by hand and why... Obviously, why candlelight, I presume that's because of the osmosis and the leaves and everything else. But that must be very labour-intensive. And why do you pick it by hand?
It is. The candlelight is so we can see, because we must have total darkness. We're preventing photosynthesis, and that gives you that sweeter, delicately flavoured product with a white flesh, so that it absorbs the colour into that flesh and looks beautiful when you cook with it. But the darkness is important for the plant. Basically, we must stop photosynthesis, because photosynthesis causes thickening of fibre in any plant. So this whole process could have been thought through, but it was an accidental discovery.
And am I right in thinking in Yorkshire it was the first place to have these forcing sheds in the world?
It was. It was discovered in 1817 in Chelsea Physic Garden, because rhubarb was a medicine. So it was kept there, and accidentally they covered some roots. And thank goodness it was where the horticulturists were, and they didn't just stand on the little pink sticks that were sticking up. They decided, we'd taste this rhubarb, it shouldn't be growing in the depth of winter, and found it was far superior in quality and flavour to any rhubarb that could be produced outside. And it then came to Yorkshire in 1877, the first place in the world that the technique was developed here.
Another amazing fact about Yorkshire, you see, there. Go on, hence?
Hence, we've got PDO status.
Is it true, Janet, that you can hear it grow as well? You can hear it crackle?
Yeah.
You hear the popping of the buds as they expand and the first stick pokes through. It's so very quiet. It's like a pea pod popping in massive sheds.
Yeah.
So I can't tell anybody this bud is going to burst any second. It's just something you hear in the background, and also creaking as the sticks grow up to 1 inch a day. So it sounds as though what's here in the darkness with us, it's only the rhubarb growing.
Well, I wish you all the very best with it. I know you're doing an amazing job, and I know you've got the next generation that are going to look after the farm as well with you. But hopefully I've done this just one Yorkshire person to another. But look, hopefully I've done this because this is how I like my crumble. Look, when it's nuclear, when you serve it to chefs and it's stuck around the edge of a dish.
Fantastic, yeah.
Like that. Yeah. This is how I like my crumble. Hopefully I've done it justice, but this goes in the oven for about 40 minutes, and then you scoop it all out. And look at this. I've not put any liquid in here. This is just the juice of 2 blood oranges. This is all the amazing juice from the rhubarb as well that comes out as well. But there you have it, and I'm going to serve that with a simple little bit of custard that goes on the side. Janet, it's a pleasure speaking to you again. I wish you all the very best of luck. But now people know where this amazing rhubarb comes from. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you very much.
Janet.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, there we have it, my rhubarb and ginger crumble. The only thing that's
Cheers,
missing
chef.
is the skin on the custard. But
I think I've got a little bit on the edge.
if you leave it a while, but you're of the opinion like I am, I go for the nuclear bits, the bits that are sort of sticky. They almost go jammy, don't they? Around
That's
the
the
edge.
best part. That's the best part.
For me, it's always the stem ginger as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of aromatic, stem ginger. But crumble, you can't get enough, can you?
Yeah, with the custard in it, it's
Delicious.
It's probably one of the best desserts you're ever going to have in it.
It is,
Rhubarb
but
and
yeah, I
crumble.
just think people mess around with it too much.
Yeah.
If you just cook it like that, pile it full of rhubarb, put the crumble on the top, just put it in 45 minutes and it goes like this. It's
the best thing ever.
It's the
Proper
best.
cooking.
Here we are. Now, Kenny and Glyn will be cooking for us a little bit later on the show. I'll be serving up a tandoor cod dal for Linda Robson very shortly. But join us again after the break. We'll be leaving Hampshire behind and hitting the road on another one of my food adventures. I'll see you in a bit.
So good.
Nice, that, isn't it?
Yeah, really good.
Our chef Kenny Atkinson will be firing up the stoves very shortly, and I'll be dishing up a brilliant cod recipe of my own for my guest Linda Robson in just a couple of minutes. But before that, loads of you have been getting in touch with emails and social media and photographs and videos of dishes you've been cooking at home. So I thought I'd take a look at just a few of them this week right now. So first off, a big well done goes to Steve, who was inspired to make these prawn and crab balls after watching the brilliant chef Atul Kutcher cooked them on the show recently. Well done there, Steve. They look fantastic. I bet you they tasted amazing as well. Next up, we've got a photograph from Catherine and Andrew in Cheshire, who had a go at that blackberry and blackcurrant delice I made on the show a few months ago. How good does that look? Brilliant there. Fantastic flavour, so with a little spoonful of cream and a little sponge base. Very simple to make. Looks really elaborate, but really easy to make. And finally, top marks this week goes to Jan Rothwell, who's made this amazing dish of southern fried buttermilk chicken. Good work there, Jan. I bet it tasted fantastic. Lovely. OK, it's time for more food adventures, and this week we're heading back to Spain's Costa del Sol to make paella, and a lesson from a restaurant that's been serving thousands of happy customers every day for more than 50 years. You're going to enjoy this one. Welcome to the Costa del Sol, the coast of the sun, birthplace of Pablo Picasso and the gateway to Andalusia. Crystal clear waters and stunning beaches have made this stretch of the coastline a prime destination for sunseekers for decades. Now, this area of the Costa is famous for so many things, of course. Instantly, as the Brits think holidays, but as a foodie, you can't help but notice when you do venture out and about, this place has far more to offer. With seafood and citrus groves aplenty, prepare to indulge your taste buds because this place is a gastronomic haven that I can't wait to explore. I've travelled east from Cadiz to where the Costa del Sol stretches for 150 kilometres along Spain's south coast. We've left the Atlantic behind and we're now officially in the Med. And today I'm in pursuit of a dish that's a proper Spanish classic, paella. While Valencia may be where the dish originated, the Costa del Sol is a must-visit destination to try this quintessential dish, thanks to its fresh seafood and thriving dining scene along the coast. And one restaurant in particular is renowned for making huge pans of the stuff. It'd be rude not to. So I'm heading about 30 miles along the coast to a small little place and a small restaurant that apparently does some of the best. Cooked originally on open fires, this gentleman still does it to this day, since he set up the restaurant in 1969. I'm meeting local legend Ayo and his son Emmanuel at their restaurant in Nerja to find out more about their famous paella. The huge pans are cooked on the floor over a fire of pallets. This is proper, no-frills, rustic cooking at its best. I've been told that your father watches it every day.
Yeah, he's always here controlling everything. He's not cooking anymore because he's a little bit old, but he controls everything. Over there, he sits there and watch everything.
With giant pans come giant quantities. What's the secret of a good paella?
Pues haciéndole un buen fume de verdura, como se hace allí, con desfogo de pollo, que lleva aceite de oliva, un buen arroz y el que la hace que sepa hacerla.
One of the most important things is the cooker, that he knows how to do it right.
No pressure on Danny, today's chef.
El fuego un poco al norte, ¿verdad?
Is he happy?
Equilibra.
He said that the fire needs to get a little bit over there
I was gonna say.
because it's not everything.
Yeah, he's just told them to move the fire a little bit over. The first step in Ayo's tried and tested method is to brown off the chicken. Before adding tomato pulp, green and red peppers, squid, and finally, the saffron rice. You can see why this is so popular, is that we haven't even got the stock in. There's already a queue to come and try it. What's great to see is it's not only visual, but the smell of this and the look of it. You get the feeling that the minute this happens in the town, that the smoke starts to rise, it brings people in. It's fantastic. It's proper cooking. After everything fries for about 10 minutes, it's in with the stock. And you guessed it, it's by the bucket load. So tell me about the stock. What's in the stock?
Okay, it's like from vegetables on fish. We make it every morning. It's been there like for 2 hours cooking, gaining a lot of flavors from the fish, from the vegetables.
And I've been told that your father gets in here at very early in the morning and watches everything.
Yes, it's like he wakes up every day like at 6 o'clock or something like that. He come here, breakfast, and then he start to see if everything on the kitchen is like going well, controlling everything.
You've got big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, I have.
With the stock and a mountain of local prawns thrown in, everything simmers for about 15 minutes. And Ayo never takes his eye off it. How many more minutes?
¿Cuántos minutos más?
3 o 4 5 minutos más.
3, 4, or 5. It depends how we see it.
Okay, I'm going to leave you to it, all right? I'll grab a seat.
Okay, perfect.
Just look at the size of that. Just to put this place into perspective, look, I've just found out, having sat here, there's 600 seats here. 600 seats. And when they're busy, they turn this over 4 times a day. 2,500 people fed here since 1969. He's Aston Martin's parked round the side. It's not really, he starts. Joking aside, there's something magical about this place. I can't wait to try Ayo's famous paella.
Hola.
Hola. Ah, gracias.
Buen provecho.
Gracias. Thank you. Served by the big man himself. Look at that. How good does that look? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And so often with paella, you taste it, and there's so many different variants, trust me. Some people put rabbits, snails, peas, all that kind of thing in here, but not here. And just to prove a point, the old boy is sat there eating a plate of his own food. Product checking, that's what it is. Real food. Proper food. God, this is good. It's amazing to see that massive pan cooking away on those sort of crates as well. It's just, right, it's an amazing thing to see. Very, very lucky if you're in that area, and to taste that was superb. Right, the very talented Kenny Atkinson will be cooking for us a little bit later, and Chef Glyn Pennell will be serving up short ribber beef in a little while. But I'll see you here back after the break when I'll be outside cooking for Linda Robson from Birds of a Feather and Loose Women. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be giving you a masterclass in lamb, and Asma Khan from Darjeeling Express will be treating us to more spectacular Indian cookery a little bit later. But first, I'm here with an actor and presenter who found fame in the hit sitcom Birds of a Feather before finding a new home on the Loose Women panel. It's the brilliant Linda Robson. Hey. Great to have you on the show again.
Nice to be here.
You kind of came on our very, very first show at the house.
It was probably about 6 years ago.
It was at least that, I think, yeah.
And I think because of Birds of a Feather, you got me to taste, I think, 5 or 6 different birds.
Yeah, well, not now. No, we don't do that. Not
I'm
now.
vegetarian now.
Yeah, not now. So we're going to do it, but you love your fish. So
I do love my fish.
So we're going to do a nice little bit of fish, but we're going to marinate the fish. But first of all, I'm going to get this in the oven. So I've got like a little tandoori marinade which over here. I'm going to cook this in the pizza oven. A little bit of oil, a little bit of butter to get a nice little bit of colour on this. And we're going to basically just cook this fish and serve it with a little lentil dal. So, first of all, where do I start with your career? Because we touched on it some 6 years ago, but you've done a load of since. But I want to go right back to how it first started, because it started so young for you.
It did, like 10 years old. So I started going... my first primary school was Rotherfield, and then my mum did a moonlight flit and moved out to Leabridge Road.
Right.
And we didn't tell the school that I was leaving. So when she eventually went back to my dad, I went to another school called Ecclesbourne, and there was a woman there called Anna Scher who started taking acting classes after school or in our lunch breaks and that.
Yeah.
And then eventually she found a little hall, a local hall, and we started going there, and it used to be 10p a lesson.
And it wasn't just you in this. I mean, it's like a who's who have gone through this.
Yeah. So Cadby Burke was there. So Martin and Gary Kemp was there. Patsy Palmer, Sid Owen, Phil Daniels, Gillian Talforth. I mean, there's so many people that just went. And none of us really wanted to be actors or anything. It was just like a little youth club, really. And then word got around that Anna was taking all these kids off the street, basically. And casting directors started coming down, and we were known as real kids rather than the jazz hand kids and whatever. So there was ever dramas, it would always be Anna's they'd go to.
And I suppose at that particular time, it was like the perfect timing, really. It was that as that TV started to explode and started going diversifying, doing different things.
Yeah, so me and Pauline Quirk we had our own TV programme. It was called You Must Be Joking, Pauline's Quirks and Pauline's People. And then eventually we started doing some dramas and everything, and the rest is sort of history.
But I want to talk to you about the book, because you brought this book out, and one of the first things I thought when I thought you're bringing out this book, I thought, is this the second, third, fourth? This is your first autobiography?
Yeah, I have been asked quite a lot over the years, but I never thought I was that interesting, really. And then Penguin,
really?
Yeah, Penguin got in touch with me and said, would you like to write your book? And I thought about it, and I thought, I don't know. And then I met a couple of writers, and I met a lady called Beth Neal, who's from Newcastle, and I loved her. She knew more about me than I knew about me. So she'd say things to me like, do you remember when you did a film with Richard Burton and Billy Connolly? And I went, oh, yeah, it's called The Absolution. And she just it was therapeutic as well, because it was like going back over all my career and everything and all the people.
Because in it, you go through, you go through the highs and the lows, and the very lows that you had
there was,
in your life. The very lows you've had in your life.
I had really bad depression for 2 years and anxiety and that, and was on suicide watch for a while as well.
And you're brutally honest with that.
Yeah, and if you had told me that would happen to me, I would have said, no way, I'm the strong one, I'm the
Because it feels to me that in a room full of people, you're the one that's sort of the protector of everybody else. Is that right, reading it?
Yeah, because my son and my husband had a bit of depression, and I was the strong one that looked after them, and then all of a sudden I was the one that was going through it, and I would never have believed if you had said that to me. But it can happen to anyone, James, really,
So did you find it therapeutic while you were doing that as well? Or...
I did, actually, yeah, because it was like a trip down memory lane. But I've always said I'm sort of quite a working class, ordinary woman, but some extraordinary things have happened to me in my career. Like, just for instance, last year I went to Mallorca with Leslie Joseph, who plays Doreen in Birds of a Feather.
Yeah.
Some producers, some West End producers. She's always in the West End. She's doing him Sister Act again. I'm going to see her tomorrow night. But I invited us out to a villa in Mallorca, and we had, someone came in to give us a massage and everything. And then one day they said, oh, my friend Catherine's invited us for lunch. Do you want to go? And me and Leslie went... And they got a swimming pool. And they went, yeah, she's got a swimming pool. So we get to the top of this, in this old van, and Michael Douglas is waiting for us. And me and Leslie are, pinching each other and going, it's Michael Douglas. Anyway, he said, I hear you two are Birds of a Feather. So obviously Catherine told him who we were.
Yeah.
So then Catherine Zeta-Jones comes walking out, and us two are like, oh, my God. So we sit down, and they've got a chef that cooked us lunch. And they had all, little flowers on the food and everything.
So we've not got flowers on the food today. We've got a bit of parsley, but go on.
Flowers, dear. Yeah. And we're sitting there kicking each other under the table. And we had the best day. And then Catherine started singing. We were all around the piano singing and everything. Anyway, eventually, when we got home, my son rang me. He said, you had a good day, Mum? I said, yeah, I have, son, actually. He went, what were you up to? I said, well, I had lunch with Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. He went, shut up, you're lying. I went, Son, I'm not lying.
I want to talk to you about the lovely little stories that you had. Were you in the theatre with Tom Hanks? That was one of the great stories.
I wasn't with Tom Hanks. I did a play called Telstar. It was me and 11 actors, and it's a true story about a music producer back in the 60s called Joe Meek, and I played his landlady, Violet Shenton. And we had everyone in the music business came to see it because it was about a music producer. We had the Pet Shop Boys, we had George Michael came in, we had loads and loads of people. Anyway, so I get shot and killed at the beginning of the first act. So then I go off and the stage doorman said to me, "Oh, there's someone big in tonight, Linda." I went, "Yeah, I know, Christina and Neil Hamilton." He went, "No, Linda, someone really big." And with that, Tom Hanks came to our dressing room with wine. He was there with his son, no big fuss or anything, you know, didn't ask to be seated.
I met him as well. He's not like that.
Lovely. What a lovely, lovely man. And then we're sitting drinking wine in the dressing room, and my husband turned up with my 2 kids to pick me up, and my son was going, "Mum, is that Tom Hanks?" I'm going, "Yes, son, it's Tom Hanks." It was absolutely lovely.
But then we're going to fast forward to sort of, you know, you've done the Birds of a Feather. I mean, I remember watching that as well.
Started in 1989.
I thought it lasted longer than it lasted. It felt like it lasted 15, 16 years.
Oh, it was a long time. But we had a couple of breaks. We had a 10-year break in between one of them. And after probably about, I don't know, we did 100 and some episodes, we all just decided that while it was doing really, really well and it was at its peak, was a good time to call it quits and that, and we all wanted
because
to
we're talking about at its peak, you know, now TV shows, now you're just happy, you know, you reach 1 million, 2 million, 3 million.
No, in those days,
we're
it
talking
was like 23 million, 25 million for Christmas specials and that. But then there weren't as many channels, was there, in those days?
But you're at the same time as sort of Only Fools and Horses and that kind of stuff, and, you know, that...
Keeping Up Appearances, One Foot in the Grave. There was much more comedies then, weren't there, really? They don't really make anything like that anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, but I don't think they make comedy like that anymore, do they?
No.
Really? Because I think that it was quite open and quite, you know, it was just... everything just... It was brilliant watch, first of all. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so well written.
It was, yeah.
That's
and we improvised a lot of it as well. So we'd work with the writers. Because when we came back probably about, I don't know, it was about 6 or 7 years ago, we came back and did a Christmas special, me and Leslie. Pauline doesn't want to act anymore, so she's concentrating on her academy. And it was just amazing, honestly. We had the best time ever.
So is there anything that's still left for you to do, Linda? Is that because...
I'd like to do some more dramas, because I used to do lots of dramas. I actually done 2 films as well last year. I did Some Other Hood, because I was in... There's Another Hood, Kidulthood, and I did Some Other Hood. And then I've done a film called Bermondsey Tales that I play a gangster's wife in it, Gary Webster's wife and that. So I like doing the drama as well. But I think since I've been doing Loose Swimming, you become more of a celebrity rather than an actress. And I want to go back to my roots and do some acting. I'd like to be a real...
It's quite interesting that you say... Because you speak to a lot of actors who get... Because every actor wants to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you speak to them that's in something like Corrie or Emmerdale or EastEnders, you know, they get pigeonholed. But I get Loose Women is just an amazing show.
It really is, honestly.
Because I've been on it several times, and it's one of those shows you just feel... You make the guests feel comfortable, first of all.
Normally, if there's someone that's really nervous, they'd send me into their dressing room to have a chat with them beforehand or whatever and just say, look, you know, anything you don't want to talk about, tell us and we won't mention it. Because obviously, if you're horrible to someone, you aren't going to get the guests.
What I'm saying is very
guests.
respectful, but also you're in the middle of... It's brilliant to do, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what on earth you're going to get asked or what they're going to talk about. But then, all of a sudden, you can have a blazing... Not a blazing argument, but a full-on.
Yeah.
And then, when it finishes... You're just having a laugh.
We're back again. I know, yeah. But we've had amazing guests. Like, me and Jane Moore had to interview... No, me and Kay Adams had to interview Michael Bublé, and we was told that we had 10 minutes to do the interview, and we were in there for probably about an hour. And I taught him how to speak Cockney. And then just as we was leaving, I went, here, Michael, I said, you wouldn't do me a favour, would you, love? He went, what's that, Linda? I went, my shoulders are killing me. You wouldn't give me a massage, would you? So I got Michael Bublé to give me a massage. Kay Adams is going to me.
Well, look, we're just going to finish off these little lentils. I don't want to go from Bublé to lentils, but look, we've got in here these lovely little split peas that I've just gone there with some lemon, bits and pieces. We'll have a little bit of seasoning at the end, salt and pepper.
Wasn't that too hot?
No, it's perfect.
No.
Perfect.
You've got a blister on your tongue now.
It is a bit hot, but yeah, it's fine. But a little bit of that, and then we're going to take out a nice little bit of the split peas. The great thing about these, you let them go cold if you want, but you add butter. You missed the butter that went in at the end, so that was a block of butter.
I know it was. I've watched you cooking for years. I've never known anyone to eat as much butter as you.
There is another chef as well, John Williams.
Oh, is there?
John Williams the Rich uses definitely more butter than me.
OK.
So that's why he's on here quite a lot. But look, yeah, you take the little split peas like this.
Yeah.
And then you've got your beautiful little bit of fish that's been roasted in a nice hot oven. Like that.
That
You're
looks
doing this
lovely.
at home. Really, really hot oven is what you want for this. Just really nice and hot. And then we can then lift off our lovely bit of fish. Like that. Lift it on there. There we have it. And then I'm just going to serve that with just a little bit of the butter over the top. Because why not? And that goes with that. So hopefully you enjoy this one. You're going to stick around for the later part of the show as well.
It's delicious.
Where we're going to talk more about the book and more about yourself. But there we have it. Roast cod. Tandoor roast cod, or tandoori spice roast cod, with a nice little bit of yellow split lentil dal. Easy as that. Well, there you go, Linda. Dive into that.
Thank you.
Tell me what you think of that one. It's not too spicy. You can spice it up if you want to put some chilli in it.
No, I'm joking. It's lovely. It's really nice.
Good,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The little yellow lentils and all that kind of stuff, nice and tasty.
Lovely.
There you go. Superb. Easy as that.
I can taste spices in there as
Yeah,
well.
not too hot, not too spicy,
it's
but yeah,
perfect.
it's nice. There we go. Right, we're making a spot of pasta for Linda later on this morning, and there's a masterclass in lamb coming your way very soon. But join us again after the break when the brilliant chef Kenny Atkinson will be showcasing his Michelin star skills and dishes from his restaurant menu. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Now, I'll be sharing some recipe ideas for lamb in this week's Little Masterclass. I'll be cooking a second course for my guest, Linda Robson, a little bit later on in the show. But first, I'm joined by Chef Asma Khan and Glyn Pinnell. We're about to taste a dish from a chef who's made the long journey down here from Newcastle to wow us with his skills in the kitchen. It's the legendary Mr. Kenny Atkinson. I added that legendary bit in the auto cue.
I'll pee you later.
Yeah, it's all right. No, well, the food that you have is amazing. And congratulations, like I said, on the second restaurant, the second star as well. It's amazing. It's brilliant. So what are you going to be doing for us then? 'Cause this looks pretty special.
Yeah, so we have some beautiful line-caught day-bought pollock from the northeast coast.
Yeah.
And we're going to serve it with a beautiful smoked crasta kipper sauce.
Crasta kipper. So I know you want to get the fish in there first of all, so that's going to go in there.
So this needs a good 10 minutes.
I'll lift that in there. So you basically, we're going to show what this is as well.
Yeah.
The way you produce this and salt it and wrap it and everything else. So it's 70 degrees.
Yeah, 70
10 minutes.
degrees, about 10 minutes.
Right, OK. So what's next then? You're going to make this.
So what we want to do is make the base for the sauce. What we want to do is a classic dashi, which is like a Japanese stock.
Yeah.
So all we have is some water, some leek. We've got some dried kombu.
Yeah.
And some nori. And then we want to bring this up to the simmer, and we got some Chinese radish as well, or daikon.
Okay. It's amazing how this has become popular over... like, almost, it doesn't feel like it's just, 5 years, really. It's just... They're sort of... The flavours, Japanese sort of flavours.
And it's so normal. So it's just a normal way of using ingredients now, whereas before it'd be like, wow, what are these exotic ingredients we're using? But
I think the miso has been probably overused, I think, probably more than anything. But I think the stuff like this is amazing. So what's next?
So next I want to roll the fish. So what we got is... I need the nori, if you can pass the nori, Glenn.
Yeah, I'll do
I've
that.
only got little lambs.
So, do you want one sheet?
Just one sheet should be enough, yeah. So what we want to do, comes in dry, but we want to rehydrate that. So we're just going to brush it with a bit of water.
I'm just going to turn that pan up a bit.
Yeah, that's great. So brush it with a bit of water, just to rehydrate it and soften the nori.
Yeah.
And you're going to just...
I'm going to just dice the shallots.
Yeah, chop the shallots and garlic for us so I can get the base for the sauce.
Yeah, no problem. So what have you done with this fish? Have you salted it?
So we brined it in a 20% solution. So basically it's to 500 mils of water. We put 100 grams of salt. And we only brine it for about 20 minutes. So that seasons the fish, but also helps the fish firm up as well. So the kipper, I just want to drop into the stock, and all the natural smoky oils and flavour will come to that dashi.
Now, you've had an amazing career in your career as well. Numerous hotels and restaurants that you've set up as well, and Ciliars as well, which I know is a beautiful part of the world. You ended up out there as well. And then you came back to Newcastle. You've now opened this... Well, you opened... Now, how long have you been open now?
So we celebrated 10 years of Shed House of Ties,
right.
So which is can't believe how fast it's gone. So that celebrated 10 years, and obviously our new restaurant is coming up to nearly 2 years now.
Because you got a star somewhere else, didn't you, before that?
So yeah, we had a star on the Scilly Isles, and we had a star at Seam as well, which is another hotel that I used to work in. So all in the northeast, obviously the Scilly Isles. What I want to do, James, I want to pull that off and almost let that kipper just steep. So, almost like classical jug kippers.
So sit that off and just leave that to one side.
Just leave that to one side.
In fact, I'll just put it in front of everybody so people can see. So we'll just put that... That's on the kombu there. It just sits there nicely like that.
So what I want to do now, James, is put that in the fridge, leave it to firm up for a good 20 minutes, then slice them into lovely roundels, which is what goes in the steamer. So we want to steam it around about 70 degrees for a good 10 minutes, just to cook that...
There's a sink if you want to wash your hands.
Yes,
at the back.
please,
There you go. So that's that one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your new restaurant as well, which is just sort of, well, only stone's throw away from your original restaurant.
Yeah, Solstice. So, yeah. So last time I was on, it was six months old.
The last time you were on, you're going, oh, it's just a cafe. It's just nice and simple. It's really nothing fancy. Click on the news, bang, another Michelin star, bang, straight away. Because it's very, very... It's only like a chef's table sort of thing,
So,
is it?
yeah,
or?
it's a really small, intimate restaurant. It's only 6 tables. But the whole idea is just to create a beautiful dining experience.
So I'm going to put Glyn to work on these flowers. What have you got
so
in here?
Glenn, if you just trim the little white leaves off, just that's all right.
Bit of gardening over here.
I'm just going to put these Joe 90 spectacles on because I can't see with binoculars. I can't see what I'm doing.
They are. So what are you looking? What are these flowers?
3D. What are we doing?
So these are Elysiums. So these have a lovely little cabbagey, kale flavour.
So you're just taking the white flowers off?
Just the white flowers off.
What's going to happen to the rest of it?
Oh, the stems normally go in
It's
the
going to strip the leaves.
Strip the leaves. roll them. Stuff a quail.
What's this?
I mean, don't eat too many of them.
Okay, sorry.
Don't eat too many of them.
I'm not touching it. Don't worry.
And what about this monk's beard? You just...
So basically, the monk's beard, this adds a lovely sea vegetable element. So all I want to do is snip off the ends.
Yeah.
We're going to cook them in emulsion. So the shallots just caramelised down with a little bit of garlic. We've added white wine and we've had a little bit of nolly prat. Reduce that down. So this stock here I've drained off. And you have this beautiful clear...
Can I just... That smell from that is incredible.
So if you smell just the stock alone...
It is...
Yeah,
the flavour you get from that is amazing.
So for me, the Craster kippers is one of probably the best UK kippers you can get, in my opinion anyway.
Is this enough white flowers for you, Ken?
That's perfect, mate.
There's a couple of rogue pink ones in there. Are we okay with that?
That's fine.
Are you sure?
So the flavour you get from the kippers is just nothing like it. And even when you do like jug kippers,
that is amazing.
That smoky, the richness, the creaminess, but it's just one of the best things you get just from poaching the stock.
And then you want to cook these. You're going to cook the monk's beard in what? A little bit of water,
butter, yeah.
Okay. There you go. A little bit of that, and you want some butter in there
as well. A bit of butter in there as well, please, James. James, can I get you to flake a little bit of kipper meat? No bones, just a little bit of meat, just to garnish the...
Get these back on, chef.
I've been put to work on here, Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes me work on this show, you know. Right, so you've got... These are the flowers. Don't sneeze around.
No, don't. So a little bit of salt into the monk's beard, not too much. So this is a lovely Italian sea vegetable, very similar to our English samphire.
And I take it with this, you can reuse this, can you? Reuse the dashi and...
Absolutely, that stock, absolutely. Smell that, mate. Smell that.
It's not going to get you to it. I've got to do it.
I was going to say, that's your job. I mean, you can smell it, couldn't you, when it dropped into the dashi? Almost instantly, it comes straight out, and it's such a familiar smell that you don't smell.
No, you don't.
Because people are really sort of not getting into them as they used to.
So but that's the thing about these kippers. It's not smoked in a modern...
Can I just say, this is the only chef it comes on... I've got to wear the glasses as well, we're doing this, but...
So they're not like your modern smokehouses. This is 150 years of traditional smoke. So if you go into the smokehouse, the walls are just black with tar, and that's part of the character, part of the flavour that it gives these amazing herons.
Amazing flavour, though. There's a little bit of bone in that one, but there you go.
Cheers, thanks, chef.
Right. How much do you want?
Just a little bit, not too much. So all I've done is wilted that in the butter emulsion.
Yeah. So the fish has had 10 minutes. That can come out.
Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing.
It's so good.
The work that goes into this as well, though. This is the... If you want to know what... I mean, you've had a star for how long?
17 years.
17 years. The work that goes into Michelin star food. Now you'll realise the reason why. Look.
There you go.
A little bit of that.
If you just add the kippers into there, James.
Yeah.
Just going to warm the sauce up.
That goes into there.
Warm through. That's it. So we're almost creating a little salad on top.
Okay.
Then just to dress that monk's beard, I've got some kipper gel.
Sorry.
Kipper gel?
So kipper gel. So, like you said before, all this liquid that you poach the...
I love this chap over here, kipper gel.
So all that dashi there, we use it. So we just reduce it down with a little bit of agar, a little bit of lemon juice, and what you get is a beautiful, acidic,
Nice.
smoky, absolute gem of a puree.
That's nice, that is, Ken.
And the reason for the black plate?
So the black plate is to try and resemble the smokehouse itself. So, like I say, when you go into the Craster Smokehouse, the walls are just covered with black tar of 150 years of traditional oak smoked, and it's just that for me adds part of the character, part of the history, but more importantly, part of the flavour of everything we do.
I feel like I'm working in your kitchen, moving all this around, Chef, just getting everything ready. Don't sneeze on the flowers, whatever you do.
Yeah, I don't think any more.
Right.
So the fish has been lightly steamed.
And the great thing about cooking it at that temperature, you see the colour from it?
Yeah, you get this beautiful...
It almost goes translucent, doesn't it?
You get this beautiful pearl colour, and it's just absolutely amazing, but so tender. Just cut the cling film off without dashing.
It's almost like a rainbow, fleck of a rainbow on the top of it.
You get that with certain, you know, that Norwegian cod. That
Shri cod, is it? Yeah,
that sort of, that almost like, pearl.
Pearly, looks a little glimmer on the top of it, which is stunning. Yeah. And the kippers just hold the flavour in your mouth. It's so intense.
So what I want to do next, James, if you can help me garnish the... actually, I'll do it. There you go.
The precious flowers.
So just little pops of flowers just on top like that.
Can I just say, this is the only cookery show where you're going to get with the dog walking around everywhere. You're right, Ralph. You're picking up bits of Craster kipper.
He keeps looking up for the gel.
No, he waited for his moment.
Where's my tweezers? Because I'm not picking them up by hand. Oh, there you go. Right.
You do sit at the table, Kenny, do you?
No, we do this in the kitchen, but we actually take it to the table, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, got a beautiful oak smoked chippings. No, I'll still leave that, James. That's it.
There we go. It's like a nightclub, that is. It's like a fish in a nightclub.
It's going to let the dog make the dog run a mile, is this? Look at that. So you leave that on there for how long?
So that's it. That's ready to serve.
Right.
Ready for the money shot.
There you go. Can I just say, while we're doing that, look, I'm just going to get Ralphie. We don't normally do this on this show, but this... See, you've been down there looking, you've got to see this. Go on. This is the first time you've actually done this in front of a dog.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, this is the money shot.
So this is the money shot. So the idea of the smoked house, the Craster, the beautiful cut smoked kippers, we take the smoke off.
Look at the dog looking.
And then let that smoke just drop to the table, and then we just finish it with that lovely, rich Craster kipper sauce.
Nice. Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, and from Ralph and everybody in the studio, I told you at the beginning of it, he was a legend. Now he's just proved it. Kenny Atkinson, everybody. I mean, look at that for a beautiful plate of food. Warm plates as well.
So good.
Dive into that.
It's just taking a very sustainable fish and pollock, but the humble kippers and trying to take them to another level. That's the
another
idea.
level. You've still got Ralph waiting here, actually, for a little bit of Craster kipper. But I'm going to take a little bit of this because I want to taste a little bit of this. What do you reckon to that?
The sauce is fantastic. It's so luxurious as well.
The sauce is amazing, isn't it, really? You are a genius.
Try.
You are a genius. Kenny Atkinson, everybody. Right, Asma will be cooking for us a little bit later on in the show. There's still loads more to come from my guest, Linda Robson, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, it's Glyn's turn to turn up the heat and try and top trump that dish.
It's going to be a tough one, James.
It's going to be a tough one, but see you back in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be teaching you the basics of cooking lamb in this week's Little Masterclass, and I'll be finishing off the show in style as I serve up sea bass pasta for my guest, Linda Robson. But first, I'm here with Kenny, and we're about to taste a dish from a Birmingham-based chef who's making his Saturday morning debut on the show, but I've known him for years. It's the brilliant Glyn Pennell. Welcome to the house, Chief. We've got you. So, what are you going to be doing? Are you surf and turf? This is great, and you will?
Yeah, I thought go a little bit of surf and turf, something that's in season as well. So, I've got a little bit of wild garlic. So,
lovely.
For people that don't really forage, wild garlic is probably one of the best things to forage because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get that wrong. So, I did order some short ribs.
Yeah.
There's been obviously a problem with the supplier. So, they give us these yabba dabba do ribs, which are a little bit too big. So as you were saying, James, normally we would cut them straight down there. So the word short would have been
short.
Yeah. So we've got
long ribs.
We've got long ribs.
Those are what we're going to be doing. We're cooking those. So the idea is, what do you do? Seal those individually? Or?
So we're going to you'd seal them. Seal them individually.
Yeah.
And then we would put them with some onions, some celery, some shallots, garlic, all of that sort of stuff. Bit of red wine. Cover it with some stock in the oven and just let them cook really slow.
And you cook these for how long? Because they take quite a while, don't they?
I'd say a good 4 hours.
Okay.
Overnight is quite good, actually, because a lot of, if you've had the oven on throughout the day, turn it down overnight, put them in overnight, you take them out in the morning, you compress them, and then you can reduce the liquor to make the...
And usually surf and turf is steak and lobster and that kind of stuff. You've got mussels with this that you're going to be doing as well.
Yeah, so we're going to use mussels. Again, they're in season, we're in the spring, so mussels to go with it. We're going to finish that, cook them with cider rather than wine.
Okay.
And we're going to make the wild garlic butter.
So you're going to make the wild garlic butter. Yes. I'm going to get the garlic on here to go in our little mussels. I'm going to start cooking that as well.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about your place then, because your restaurant has held... I feel like Birmingham's become like a gastronomic capital over recent, like a year, because it's just gone crazy. But you've been there for, what, a Michelin star now for
17 years.
17 years.
And I had a Michelin star previous to that, so probably over 20 years now.
Yeah.
So the restaurant, and it's become... It used to be the culinary desert of the country. It was joked upon. It was curries. It was bad.
But had a great Indian sort of that curry scene as well. But in terms of restaurant dining, it was kind of sparse until you guys came along, and then you've gradually opened up. You've not just got one. You've got more as well now.
Yeah. So I've got a tapas bar, which is in the centre of town, around the corner. I used to have a cocktail bar. And a cocktail in Birmingham was ice and lemon. Now, things have picked up. So I've got a tapas bar, and I've also got a pub which is just outside Birmingham, just outside Stratford, Henley. So he's the second most famous person in the Midlands, William Shakespeare. Don't know if you've ever heard of his work. Bit dated, but worth a read. But I'm going to put this in
go on, then what are you doing?
So
in there you've got wild garlic and garlic.
Yeah, wild garlic and garlic. And then we're going to add some butter to it, and then we're going to roll it, and then you can keep it. So the season of wild garlic normally sort of starts end of Feb to sort of like end of April.
Right.
And you get the lovely flowers as well. So if you want to, harvest it and either blend it, freeze it, or...
Freezes brilliantly. Once you've made this, though, it freezes great.
Exactly. So we'll pop the butter in there.
But it's not just great just with beef. It's amazing with fish, and it's beautiful, is it? With just summer vegetables, it's wonderful.
It's just amazing, and it's free as well. If you know where to forage it, there's just abundance.
Free. So I get it from there's a little river that goes by one of the reservoirs over towards where I live, the River Bourne, and there's just plenty of it. It's all up at the sides. It's so easy. Right. So
and also you get amazing flowers from it.
You get the flowers. You get the little buds as well, which you can pickle down. The little capers. It's amazing.
Sorry, chef. That's how it sort of looks. It's got that lovely stem. Get your scissors and cut it. Yeah. So we've rolled the garlic butter here. So that's rolled. So. Put that for the sauce.
So they're the mussels. You've cooked in cider as well, this one?
Yes, we've got a little bit of cider for that sweetness as well as the acidity you would normally have from the wine.
Yeah.
So we've got that. I've got a bit of asparagus again. So Evesham asparagus, I believe your other half is from
from
Evesham.
The woods, Evesham.
So we'll put a little bit of butter in here.
I'm going to put a little bit of water in it for you as well.
Thank you, James. So we've got the cookie liquor from the mussels.
Yeah. So the asparagus goes in there, and then you want to pick the mussels out of there.
The mussels out there, yeah.
So what made you have this? So you've got a mixture of sort of Michelin star restaurants, tapas, and a pub.
Yeah. Diversity, James. It's all about it.
But it must be great for the city, though, the food vibe.
It's the feel-good factor, and and I've said this and I've quoted this many times. It's like people used to drive through Birmingham, now they're driving to Birmingham, and that for me is and to be part of that. Has been fantastic.
The director's saying that we can't see Kenny because of the steam. Can you move the pan? No.
What I suggest is...
Sorry, Kenny. Just move to the side.
There you go. Or he can or he can hire the chair up. Exactly. Or eat his vegetables.
But this is quite unusual training. Mussels with the beef as well.
Again, it's in season, and like... Oysters is not everybody's cup of tea, or to go with the surf and turf, and prawns sometimes is a little bit sort of generic. So I thought mussels, sweet, they're in season, the same mussels at the minute, and then you'll have that sort of really rounded flavour of the garlic, which will bring a whole sort of spring tiptoeing into summer sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Didn't you? The tiptoe. I've seen the way you're a little bit light on your feet as well. Look at that.
Right, that's that. That's that one. So we got a nice little bit of mussels, and our asparagus is now done. So I'll just take that off. That's now cooked
to the front. That's the way. And again, we can just season that. Sorry, James.
Don't get away.
Season that asparagus. Like that again. Not a great deal of water. Obviously, asparagus having sort of 80% water in it anyway.
Yeah.
Just that butter and just a little bit of water to help it steam.
Yeah.
It just retains that flavour.
And just to recap on the sauce, this is where it's the reduction is the key to it.
Yeah.
Reducing the sauce down. Everybody watching this going, well, that's been boiling for about 4 or 5 minutes. But that's what you're supposed to be doing, reducing it all down.
So we're going to reduce that down, intensify the flavour, get that consistency, because then we're going to whisk in the butter. See, it's nice, bright green.
Yeah.
We're going to whisk in the butter, and then hopefully get a nice emulsification of the... Drop that in, and then when that's dropped in, we'll start thinking about putting the mussels in.
And I'll get the beef out.
Get the beef out, chef,
Glaze that in there as well. So, like I said, good 4 hours in there.
Yeah.
And look at this beef. Look at that. Look at that.
You want it to stick to the bone, glaze the beef, but also stick to your lungs. It's just one of those requirements that I think is necessary.
How good does that look? The sauce goes all gloopy. Look at that.
You've got a little bit, the juice of the mussels that have come out as well. Just whisk that. As you can see, it's just emulsifying that. And if you close your eyes and smell it, it smells like a really posh garlic bread. Because it is the future, Kenny. Right. Can you smell it, chef?
Posh garlic bread.
Posh garlic bread. It's posh garlic bread without bread. It's for those people that don't need gluten. That don't need gluten. It's gluten-free garlic bread there, guys. Right. So, that's nice. We just have a little taste.
I'll get you a little tray for that, that little bit of beef.
Just bring them back up. They're still warm. If you wanted to do it for a dinner party, you have the butter made, you have the mussels pre-cooked, and you can just drop them in as your guests come.
But you see, the meat just falls off the bone.
Off the bone.
When it does that, you just know it's cooked perfectly, don't you?
Oh, look at that.
So,
yeah.
Right. I'm going to leave that with you to put the plate up. You're the chef. Okay. That looks amazing.
It looks beautiful.
So we've got... Yeah, if it has come off, it's come off. We can just...
If bare of it's come off, you just know that it's cooked right. Like Kenny was saying, look at that. You just know this is going to be tasty. Delicious.
You can see now, you can smell it.
Thank you.
And so little butter and water and so little cooking time for the asparagus.
You don't need much to it. It's like the rhubarb earlier. You don't need to add too much to it. Just cooking its own juices.
Again, this is something that can be cooked at home. Got people round.
But make sure when it arrives, you make sure you get a short rib of beef. Short rib beef as well.
Right, and then we've got the mussels.
It's amazing, that.
I've lost a spoon in there, chef, but I'm sure we'll dig it out eventually. So...
I've got it.
You got it?
Asbestos hands. There you go.
There we go. That one's gone in there again. Do you want to grab that one out for me again? Okay. Can we get some more spoons, guys? Because we seem to be cooking more than we're using, chef. Right, I'm not going to put this one down, okay? Right.
This is Glenfidel. This is the first time and the last time you'll see it.
It's been absolutely fantastic, chef. Right, okay, so...
Only joking.
We got the mussels on there. You want to grab those flowers, Kenny, because that seems to be your department.
Okay. So what have we got here?
We've got little chive flowers. We've got a little bit of borage and a little bit of watercress.
A little bit of borage, yeah. It's lovely, that, isn't it? You just know that it's going to taste just...
And then just...
spectacular.
Just a little bit of that.
Bit of that on there as well.
And what we'll do is a little bit of watercress on top.
Bit of watercress. Yeah.
Stunning. Yep. Fantastic. And then we'll just finish it with a little drizzle.
I'll just give you a little bit of sauce there.
Thank you.
This is going to go well in the pub menu.
Definitely.
Look at this.
Nice glass of wine or a rather large beer.
Yeah.
And there you've got
Explain to us what you got then.
So we got slow-cooked long ribs with mussels cooked in wild garlic butter, slow-cooked asparagus from Evesham, and we've got an array of a few little flowers just to make Kenny happy.
A surf and turf of the difference, but by a genius in the kitchen. Glyn Pennell, everybody. This is a portion and a half, isn't it?
Look at that. It's bigger than my own.
You'll be sleeping on your way back home, won't you? Look at that. That's serious. It's amazing, though, isn't it? Look at that. But that's what you want the meat to do, doesn't it? Just fall off.
Fall off the bone.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get the sweetness of the mussels, and you've got that classic garlic butter flavour that goes with it.
Absolutely delicious. Flavour with the mussels and the beef.
That lovely salty... Oh, mate, it's amazing.
Brilliant.
Beautiful.
There we go. Excellent. He's a genius. Glyn Pennell, everybody. No. He'll be back. There'll be more cooking later from the brilliant Asma Khan, and I'll be laying on a spot of lunch for my guest, Linda Robson, at the end of the show. But we'll see you back here in a couple of minutes, when I'll be teaching you some top tips for cooking lamb in this week's little masterclass. You're going to enjoy this one. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, there's still loads more to come from my guest, Linda Robson, and Chef Asma Khan has got another one of her mouth-watering recipes. That's in store for us coming up next. But first, it's time for this week's masterclass, and I'm so excited about this week's masterclass. I'm rolling up my sleeves, because we're about to talk about lamb, because British lamb is the best in the world, full stop. And we need to learn more about where it comes from, how to cook it, and support the farmers who get it to our plates in this country as well. So this, technically, is a whole lamb in front of me. You have what they call the rear, you have the prime, and you have, well, some people call this the forequarter of the front, so your shoulder over here. So we'll start at the back and work our way forward. So you have, in here, you have your leg. You either have a short leg or a long leg. It all depends on where it's cut in this section over here. Now, towards the bottom, you have the shank. That can be either from the leg, at the front, or the back of the lamb. So that's your lamb shank, which is right over in the corner, which is that piece over there. Now, these used to be, when I was training in London as a kid, about 15 pence each. That's how long I've been cooking, but now they're about sort of £4 each. The price has gone up quite dramatically, but they can be from the front or the back. That's that. From this as well, you can cut through, you can get these steaks. These are leg of lamb steaks. These come in like this, or they come in bone in and bone out. It depends where they've gone with this area, really. These are great whether they're grilled, pan-fried. You can treat them like a steak. Brilliant for a barbecue this summer. These are fantastic. So that's really the back area of the lamb. Then we start talking about the prime cuts. This is where the price goes up a little bit, and the cooking changes. So all this is conventionally roasting. This area over here. These are what we call the prime cuts as well. Not really the bottom bits, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So the prime cuts are this area over here. From this, you end up with your rack of lamb, which we've got on here. Now, this is what we call French trimmed. So it's had the bones removed, and it's had the chine removed. The chine is the central backbone down the middle. If the chine's removed, when you roast this and you slice it all through, you get amazing little cutlets you can chop through. You can roast this as a whole piece like that. Usually it's 6 to 7 ribs on a cutlet like that, or you can chop it all through and you end up with your lamb chops like this. This is from this area over here. If you take all the fat away from this and just leave this eye of the meat, this is what we call the loin. This is probably the most expensive bit, really, over here. I would go for this cut here, which is from this area. So not from really the prime bit, from this area. This is called the lamb rump, and I'm actually going to cook this now because it's actually really simple. So I'll just stop what we're doing over here, but this is from this area over here. It's a brilliant cut of meat. It's the lamb rump. So you take a little bit of salt and pepper, but you can see there's very, very little fat on it, but just enough to keep it nice and moist. And when you're roasting this, it's just a fantastic, simple little roasting joint. So if there's just one of you live on your own, or you're cooking for one of you, this is just a fantastic cut of meat just to buy, because you can have this cold, you can eat half of it. It's great for 2 people, but it's just a wonderful cut of meat like this. So you just take this, pop it on there. So this is what, your lamb rump is what you need to ask for as well from your butcher. Like that. So we're going to pan fry that. You can put a few aromats in it, but a little bit of salt and pepper, touch of butter, a little bit of oil. Get a nice bit of colour on the fat. That's important for this one. Colour it. We're going to turn it over, set the oven 200 degrees. It's going to cook for literally about 12 minutes, something like that. So that's that. This area over here. Now, if you keep this attached to the other side and cut the way through, or leave it whole, this is what we call a saddle. If you cut all the way through, you end up with this piece over here, which are your classic Barnsley chops as well. We've talked about rhubarb on the show, been from the rhubarb triangle. This is another one from that area, Barnsley chops. Sometimes if the butcher's really kind to you, he'll leave the kidneys on it as well. But that is basically these two joined together, not cut in half, and then we cut through, and that's where your Barnsley chop comes from. So let's just concentrate on our little bit of meat over here. That's it. Just get a nice bit of colour on it. That's that one. So really, this is more or less it, apart from this area over here. This is what we call the belly. This is where you can get these independent ribs you can cut through. These are slowly braised, and you put these on the barbecue. Brilliant, like a Jacob's Ladder that Glyn cooked on the show. Alternatively, what you can do is get this as a piece, and that piece is there. It's had the bone removed, and that is a little mini roasting joint in there. That sits underneath there. You can get it, this section rolled, which is this. This is a rolled belly of lamb. Now, my granny used to use this a lot. This is fantastic. Really inexpensive cut of meat, but one where you actually just pop it and roast it like a mini roasting joint in the oven. So seal it like I've done over here, salt and pepper in the oven. This lamb rump, like I said, for between sort of 12 and 14 minutes. With this, you're probably looking about sort of 30 minutes, 40 minutes once it's nicely roasted and sealed off. Roast it in a nice hot oven, treat this like a mini roasting joint. It's absolutely delicious. Meanwhile, over here, we've got our shoulder. This braised, which I'm going to show you now, is absolutely delicious. So with a shoulder, you can either get it whole like this, and this is the whole one. So many times it's had this plate removed, it's had the neck removed, and you get this joint over here. Alternatively, you get this piece, which has got the bone in the middle of it, like that, and we just lift that out and put it on there. And then what we can do is cook it really simply. So this is fantastic roasted. Brilliant with Indian sort of flavours and spices, stuff like that. It's delicious, this. So you just put some garlic with it, onions. It takes robust flavour, so don't mess around with it. Onions go in. Rosemary goes in. Fresh thyme can go in. And then we take some stock and some wine. And you sort of pot roast this while you're doing it. So rather than the classic roasting joints that we have here, like you do with the leg, and remember, I've cooked the leg of lamb in hay on the show as well recently as well, which is just, well, it's pet shop hay, really, but you put the leg of lamb in it, it just tastes amazing when you roast it. This one, you're just going to take some salt and pepper over the top, and I've set the oven about 160 for this. This wants to cook for about 2 to 4 hours, really. The longer you leave it, the better it gets. It's as simple as that. That's that bit, all right? So you leave it gently, gently cooking in here. And I've got one that's been roasting away nicely. You can cover it over, and what you end up with is an amazing sauce from it and juice and everything else. And that we can just leave to one side and then take that out and then almost shred that meat. This is brilliant for salads. It's brilliant just hot like this. It's absolutely delicious. So from this, if you go this way as well, you get this joint as well. If you don't want to go for a whole shoulder, another one to do sort of smaller portions of this is a cut of meat that you never really see much, very much anymore. This is called the Old Henry, which is from this area over here. It's like a miniature sort of braising joint, which we've got over here. You see, all got lovely fibrous flavours in there. Seal it off, cook it exactly the same way I've done there. Give it another an hour and a half, something like that. It's going to taste amazing. And of course, from all the trim from all this, you have your classic lamb mince. Alternatively, you take all the bones out of here, you end up with a boned roll shoulder, which is, again, another good roasting joint. So you don't need to braise it once the bones are in. You can just simply roast it. It's going to be slightly tougher than this, but you've got much more flavour. So if you're looking for something that's really packs a punch in terms of flavour, then go for a boned, rolled shoulder of lamb. It'll taste very different to the leg, different sort of texture, but cook it exactly the same way. It tastes brilliant. So I'm just going to do a little garnish with my little rump of lamb over here and then tell you a bit about where this and why lamb. Well, lamb particularly is under a year old. And when it goes as in sizes, that's classed as hogget. And then from that, you get mutton later on. Mutton's usually between sort of 1 and 3 years, depending on the breed of the sheep and that kind of stuff. But we really need to support the farmers, as I said, in this country a lot more, I think, because when you visit Yorkshire, and we visited with Aldroids, and when they're not growing rhubarb, and you've got all those amazing dry stone walls around Yorkshire and Wales and all that kind of stuff, all that costs money. It costs money, it costs time. We drive around there thinking, what an amazing, beautiful place, and how fantastic the views are. Well, it's all basically because of farmers producing this. They can't grow a lot else in that area. So the more we support them, the better it is for all of us, put it that way. So look, we've just got a nice little bit of asparagus. And when stuff like this is in season, you've got an amazing array of produce when lamb's in season, which it is right now as well. But you've got broad beans, we've got asparagus, you've got peas, and really simple to cook when I'm doing this. I'm going to do this with the nice little bit of rump, which I've just got resting as well. But you see, just some butter and water. That's all you need. And it's so quick to prepare this meal. So a touch of fresh mint, just a little bit. Just a touch, and then we've got some chives, just a few chives. And you just want to basically just heat this up. I mean, this is how quick it is, really, and how simple it is. You're going to make this in no more than a minute, probably. Salt and pepper's in there. While that's happening, we can lift out our rump, which we've got over here. Like I said, when you're roasting anything, really, think about how long it's been in the oven, and then you go, right, I'm going to then... If it's been in the oven for 12 minutes, I'm going to leave it to rest for about 6 minutes. We just leave that to one side. The liquor, the juice, I'm going to keep because this is amazing as well. Not going to get rid of that. But you can see, this almost reduces down to nothing. As it starts to create this nice little sauce with it, then we can just turn that off. And that's done. You reserved all the lovely colour in there and everything else. The shoulder will lift out at the same time. And this is just fantastic. This should just drop apart. Look at this. It is absolutely epic, is this. And whether you have it like this or whether, and I've done this before on the shows, you keep that liquor as well, keep the juice. It's just amazing. And then we just take the lamb like this, shred it, put it back into the pan, make a sauce with it, and you can make an amazing shepherd's pie with it as well. Like that. But with this meat like this, it just tastes. It's the best in the world. End of. It just is. And then we grab our little plate. Look at the lovely colour of our veg. We can lift this on here. Everything's nice and green, which it should be. Lift that on there. And then slice this up. And as I said, this is a lovely little, look at that, mini little roasting joint. You can serve this for two. You can have it cold afterwards as well, with salad and bits and pieces. It's just absolutely delicious, this little lamb rump. And you can place that on there as it goes, like that. And then, not forgetting, you've got the simple gubbins. And this gubbins is all that lovely butter and sauce to go with it. And there you have it. Two very, very simple dishes. But one of my favourite masterclasses that I've done yet on the show, in 8 years of doing this, that has got to be my favourite because it is one of the greatest produce in the world. Now, if there's anything you'd like to learn about in Little Masterclass, then do get in touch with me, see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break, but join me again in a couple of minutes when we've got another great plate of food, this time from Asma Khan. See you in a bit. How good is this? Welcome back. Now I'll be making a show-stopping dish of sea bass for my guest Linda Robson. That's coming up next. But before that, I'm here with Kenny and Glyn, and we're about to enjoy a dish from a former lawyer whose incredible cooking has helped her become one of the most influential women in hospitality. It's the brilliant Asma Khan. Thank you. I say brilliant because your food, every time you come here, is just amazing. I'm so glad you guys are here to taste this as well, because what are you going to be cooking? We've got a toaster and chips. I mean, what could be better?
Yes. Because, I mean, I really think that home cooking is not understood.
Right.
What you get in restaurants and in kitchens, whatever, is not really what we eat. So this is a great opportunity to kind of just cook simple things that we make at home.
It's going to be amazing. So what is the name of this dish, then?
So
what are we gonna...
I'm cooking two things.
Yeah.
The first one is eggs in a tamarind gravy.
Wow.
And the other is keema mutter, which is every household that does eat meat will have keema at least 2 or 3 times a week, because this is the only way that to ensure in a large family everybody gets equal amounts.
Yeah.
And keema is I mean, unfortunately, it does have a bad reputation in this country, but we make our own keemas in India and get it from a reputable place. Keema is fabulous.
And is it very, very different to what you have back in India?
No, it's not. It's very similar.
Right.
I wanted to make keema because I need the oil. Let me start my vegetable oil.
There you go.
Thank you. I want to make keema because I think that a lot of people who don't have time to cook, and don't have the patience, it's now quite expensive. And I think that, keema is one thing that works really well. You can make it. And I also wanted to, that's why the toaster comes in. after this, after I make the keema, I want to make a keema toasty, which we also have in my restaurant. And that is...
You've got toasties in your restaurant.
Yeah,
I love this,
yeah. It's a lot of kids, all of us, grew up having toasties. Can this be made more?
Yeah.
I can never adjust it here.
Yeah.
A lot of us grew up having toasties. If you were late for lunch, especially if you're a girl, no one would wait to give you lunch.
Yeah.
But what they would do is whatever didn't have too much of a gravy, they would put into a sandwich and give it to you.
Yeah.
But the best thing was you got to have the chutney that the adults had eaten for lunch earlier. So these are the two chutneys that are going to go in. A lot of butter. That is so good. Butter. 2 kinds of gravy, then 2 kinds of chutney, and then in with the keema or anything, whatever there is.
Yeah.
Anything that's dry, so even vegetables would go in.
So you've got that, what's that?
That's the concentrate.
Wow. The tamarind, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
That's that one.
Not quite the smoke that, I mean, but this is, with Indian food, there's a lot of kind of heat which you need to control. And you cannot allow the spices to kind of die in some ways. Yeah. But spices are so wrongly used. This is why I always try to kind of explain how spices should be used correctly. This is normal salt, right? I hate these.
Normal salt, yeah.
Yeah. I hate this other one.
A good chunk of salt in there as well, that's what I like.
Yeah.
I'll swap this over. So you leave that to cook for a little bit.
Yeah, and that needs to just kind of boil down.
Bring that over.
Yeah. I need the chopped onions.
Chopped onions, chef. Yeah. There you go.
He's so efficient. You should be a chef.
Well, you know, a lot of people say that, shouldn't we, really? Right. You're going to reduce that sauce down, is that right?
Yeah, I'm just reducing that sauce.
Do you want the coriander in there?
In there, please.
OK, no problem.
And then just touching back on spices, because obviously we all use spices and we'd like to know how to use them just as you do. Is there like a format of using it, or is it like a feeling, or is it a...
Like this. This is cassia bark.
Yeah.
And everybody uses cinnamon.
Yeah.
It's the wrong thing. It kind of gives a completely different flavor. And this is bay leaf, which is Indian bay leaf, tez patta. If you use the Mediterranean bay leaf, it has, again, different flavor completely. So one of the reasons that things don't taste the way they should is because you're using the wrong spices.
And do you grind, obviously, toast and grind up all your own seeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wouldn't buy a powdered, ready powdered seed,
because
would you?
it's just not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work. And also, the other thing is that so much of spices are oil-based.
Yeah.
So if you keep a big packet in there, can you just make just like 4 slices, just indent 4, and then go and put it into that, please?
Just 4 like that?
Yeah. I don't want this spoon. I want a wooden spoon.
Yes, chef.
Which one do you want there?
And so you want the eggs in there as well? Yeah?
Yes, please.
OK. Now tell me about what you've been up to as well, because you're now working on your own products. Must be something very, very different for you as well.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to make home cooking more understood, to demystify it, and to also kind of make people appreciate the fact that, you know, women are the ones who are cooking at home. When you go into kitchens, whether it's in the East or in the West, you'll find men cooking. And I don't have a problem with men cooking. Let them have all the glory. But there's no space for women. And the fact that at the moment, at this level, I am still the only all-female Indian restaurant in the world.
Yeah.
Is hard. But I am determined, you know, that my legacy will not be Chef's Table or Darjeeling Express. It'll be the fact that someone can take my name when they go into a room, the landlord or someone, and say she existed, she was there. And even when I'm dead, I will still be that person you can name, because when I wanted to open a restaurant, I could name no one. I was a lawyer, I had a PhD, but I had no culinary experience. I never went to culinary school. How could I tell them I have life experience? That I can cook, and it keeps me up at night. It's my passion. I love it. I love feeding people. That's not what they want to hear.
You're busy doing that, but also you're busy. Tell me about this sort of Tiffin. Tell me about Tiffin. New series? What was?
Yes, I'm finally doing a series in India. It's called Different Stories. I'm working with an amazing guy called Raghav Khanna, and we're basically going around interviewing iconic Indians on their relationship with food. Because in our culture, there's a sacredness in food. But also, as India is developing, it's becoming more Western style of eating. Okay, so yeah, you're getting there. Yes, I need that.
Smart puree?
Yeah.
Tell me when.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. So in goes the peas, and you sweat that down, and we end up with what we've got over here.
Yeah, which you're going to now.
So I'm going to take the rice and warm it up. Yeah. I do feel like a commie chef when I'm doing this. I'm loving this. It's great, though. It's put me to work. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Butter till the very end, okay?
I was just about to say, I was about to say, make sure they're to the corners.
Really poor quality
I'm
butter.
the one person you do not need to question with buttering white sliced bread.
Especially to the corners.
This gives me more enjoyment than anything else, to be honest, doing stuff like this. That. So butter to the edge. So you want the green chutney on first.
Yeah.
Well, you better show me one, because I'll follow you.
Yeah.
Right. So what's in this green chutney?
It's garlic, chilies. You will love it.
Looks so good. So green.
Wow, look, whoa. That's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. It's amazing. What?
It's not for the faint-hearted.
What is that in that?
This is kind of stuff that we make at home. It's got no oil, no vinegar, no nothing. And then the tomato chutney goes on the other side.
Yeah.
And the keema here.
So what tomato chutney on this one?
Yeah, but not as much as I put the green chutney, because I was just trying to... I just think the green chutney is needed.
We'll just... So tomato chutney on this one.
Yeah.
And then you put the mince on the top.
Yeah.
And then sort of sandwich the two together.
Yeah.
Okay. And then butter it again.
Yeah.
What's favour, isn't it?
And you tell me, is that enough, or... Is
Yeah.
that all right?
Better than the way that you're buttering the toast, bread.
And then tell me about the book then, because what's the book you're working on? This is your third book?
Yes, this is my third book. I've just signed the book deal. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
It's a book on flavors.
Yeah.
Because we don't have this concept of meat and two veg.
Right.
We really work on this whole thing. Like it's many different flavors. So you've got sweet, sour, umami, pungent, bitter as well, which is very important. And a perfect meal where you're fully satiated is when all those 6 sections are stimulated.
Yeah.
I mean, you all are doing this as well with your food because you're layering it. But the thing is that we mix different things. Mm-hmm. And tamarind is, used a lot in all of India.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sourness. It's a very important part of Ayurveda because this is what stimulates. It actually helps your gut health. So I wanted to make something that is not so well known, but it's also something that's inexpensive. I've cooked this in real time.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important that, I understand that people order food in and whatever, but try and cook. And also I think that, buy things that are British, that are local.
Yeah.
Do not go for, complicated things. And eggs are something that we do so well. Mm-hmm. So well. So we need to start plating.
Okay. Yes,
the rice, I need you to put this rice in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the keema in here.
Yeah. So this.
And will you have, at home, the chutneys sort of made you'd make them, keep them in jars, or would you...
No, we make them fresh. Like this one is made fresh, the green one.
So you make it fresh every time you want a chutney?
Yeah, because it's too hot.
Do you want a pile of rice?
Yeah.
It's too...
You can also do any gizmo you want, but just put the rice there.
I'll just put the rice there, so that's good. So just warming it up. So tell me about these eggs then that you're doing as well.
This is really what we used to eat in monsoon, because monsoon, the bazaar used to be closed. I'm going to drop this if I'm not careful. The bazaar used to be closed because of water everywhere. And in England, in fact in the West, everyone thinks of egg as just a breakfast thing. It's part of our meal. It's got protein in it. Mm-hmm. It's good quality stuff. It's also at this time quite a good thing to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to get... Yeah.
Get rid of that for you. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's that one. Chips, you want lightly salted?
Yes, please. Who doesn't have chips salted? Or those are just direct?
I just thought I'd ask.
Oh, fine. I was nervous for a minute. What am I supposed to say to that?
And then we're just waiting for our nice little bit of the toasted...
Literally smells. I'm absolutely dribbling.
Doesn't this? It just smells amazing.
It smells amazing.
As chefs, you get so excited about produce and bits and pieces, but when you see somebody who's cooking like this, it's just it makes you smile. Food to make you smile. It's proper.
No, and I think that there's joy in eating, and also there's a privilege that we forget. You wouldn't do this for 10 years if it was something that didn't keep you up at night.
we love
I'm done.
pressure. Yeah.
No, you got the toasties.
Yes, no,
Well,
that's your.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not done.
Yeah.
But look, I just wanted you to see the eggs. This is amazing. All right, you ready?
Yes. Oh yes. yes.
Happy with that? Do you want this to come out?
Yes, please.
Good. Okay.
I don't know what to take it out on.
I'm doing it. I've got it.
Okay, yeah. Let's let him do all the hard fiddly bits.
So, got that. There we go. Do that, and I'll chop that in half. I love the idea of bread and chips.
Yeah.
I love it. And then we'll take another one. This is all out. I bet you guys arrived here and didn't think you were going to be having this today, gents.
Definitely. We've got triple carb there as well.
That's what I mean.
Be on a hamster wheel till about 4 o'clock.
So give us the name, Asma, give us the name of all these dishes, because these are spectacular.
Yeah, so that's the keema toasty. That's actually the keema, which you can have with the rice. The chips is there for the soup. And this is khatte ande, which is like sour eggs, but it's in tamarind base.
I told you she was an absolute genius. She really is. Asma Khan, everybody. Now, I was going to pass this to you. You've got to come round for this. You bring your knives and forks. Bring the irons across to here.
I won't be asked twice to say that much.
I'm going to grab a chip. This is going to be a revelation, I think. This is amazing.
It's going to be a mess, but...
I'm gonna...
Have the toast. Just eat it with your hands. Yeah, eat it with your hands.
Yeah.
So if you don't do... The chutneys work in a different way.
This is going to go viral. If people at home don't make this, then the red's looking at. It's so good.
Asma Khan, everybody. Brilliant. Right, we've got time for one more final course, so join me after the break where we're listening to a show-stopping sea bass dish for Linda Robson. I'll see you in a bit. How good is that?
So good.
Welcome back to the final part of the show, sadly. But I'm back in the kitchen with all my guests, Kenny, Asma, Glyn, and, of course, Linda Robson. What a great show it's been. What a great show. Great food. We're going to top it all off with an amazing little sea bass dish. Sea bass pasta, which you're poised and ready, Linda. Look at this.
I'm ready. I've been practising.
You've been practising. So I'm going to show you, first of all. Kenny, I'm going to put you to work. We're going to grate the tomatoes, if that's all right. So these tomatoes we're going to cut in half, like that. And then if you can then grate them, like the Spanish sort of style, although this is an Italian thing, we're just going to grate them like that to get the pulp. So take it right down to the skins. We drain off the liquor. We want the pulp inside there. So I'm going to leave the tomatoes over there with you. Lovely. That's that one. Meanwhile, our team of commie chefs over here are making these little pasta balls over here. So these little pasta over here, which we're going to then... meanwhile... Asma's there, just checking to see if they're doing the job properly.
How are we doing?
Casting an eye over
I'm watching, and they're very competitive.
Yeah, we are.
I can see that very competitive.
It's an edge here, Linda. I can feel it.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take your pasta over here. Now, with this pasta, it's really rich in egg yolks. That's the key. So 00 flour, as you do normally. I don't put semolina in this one, but then really rich in egg yolks. And you can chop it up like that into little pieces. We're going to slice it all up like this. That's it. If I can take that one.
You try that one, James.
So we'll take this one. So again, just these little butter pats, and then you just use the thumb, and they just roll in, and you get these little ears. They're going to go in. I'm going to cook those in boiling salted water as well, as they just roll like that. Now, Glyn, you do realise you're sat in between two quite famous writers that we got on over here.
I feel privileged to be sandwiched.
Academic, that's what you... So, Linda, you've got a new book out, Sunday Times.
Yeah.
Top 10 book.
Yeah.
This is your autobiography. Those people are just were, celebrating 56 years in the business.
Yeah, 10 years old when I started. I was the first one in my family to have a bank account. And I used to have to go down and get a licence so that I could work. And I had a chaperone and a tutor come everywhere with me. So it was lovely, really.
And we
lovely.
touched on it. Was this famous teacher that
Anna Scher,
yeah.
OBE. She got an OBE for her work with young people and that. She was amazing. She passed away last year and we all went to her funeral. But she used to, in her 6 weeks holidays, when she wasn't working, she'd go out to India and work with the kids on the streets and that out there. She was an amazing woman.
I know, Asma, you're into aspirational women, like you're one yourself. It's just, this is another great story of this person who had this idea, help the younger generation as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that, it has to be about something more than just yourself. And I think that if you don't do this, what's the point? I mean, whatever you achieve for yourself dies with you.
but also writing an autobiography. It's a very personal journey. This is the book as well. Truth to be told,
it's tales from a baggy mouth, because that's what my mum used to call me, because she would say,
well,
you and your baggy mouth will get you into trouble. And it has got me into a lot of trouble over the years.
And you're going through those stories in the book as well, but it is a journey, and I often think with a book like this, do you ever think, well, I can't really tell that, I'm not going to tell that. Do you hold back at anything? Or
I didn't hold back until my kids and my family got hold of the book and took all the bits out that they didn't want. There was going to be 2 chapters at one time.
Right.
But no, it was really therapeutic. I absolutely loved it. I hated doing the audio book because it's like sitting in a phone box from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you just have to keep reading it and reading it and reading it.
But it takes you on this amazing journey of your life, your career, not just the personal life as well, but your professional career as well. I often think with your career, people will know you from a certain age bracket. Birds of a feather, I just look at you, birds of a feather, Loose Women, straight away.
I've got the same hairstyle. I came out of the womb with this hairstyle. It won't do anything.
Birds of a feather, was that something that you both wrote together? Where did the idea of that come from?
What happened was I was doing a series called Shine on Harvey Moon, which was set just after the Second World War, and me and Pauline Quirk had been best friends since we were 10 years old, and we were filming in Nottingham, and she came down to spend the weekend with me, and then we were in the bar and we were having a few drinks after we'd finished recording that day, and one of the writers, Lawrence and Maurice Marks, their names were, said, we've got this idea for a series for you. And then we met them at the Ritz Cafe and Pauline turned up with her Reebok trainers on. We were all like casual and everything. We got in there, everyone was really, really well dressed, and they brought round pink champagne and gave it to me and Pauline. We didn't like champagne, so we put sparkling water in it, so the wine waiter was fuming that we'd ruined this lovely champagne and that. But and then they said it's about 2 sisters. One lives in a high rise in Edmonton, the other one lives in a £1 million house in Chigwell. And Pauline went, I know which one I am. And she was in the high rise and I was in the £1 million house. So
because nothing else was like that at that particular time.
Not really, no, because it was 3 women in a show. It was
because you had Man Behaving Badly, you had Only Fools and Horses, you know.
Yeah.
But also what I read as well, the pay gap between.
Oh, because we found out what the boys from Only Fools and Horses were getting.
Yeah.
And we went to our managing director, who was called Mick Piltoff at the time, and said, we want the same money as them. We're getting the same amount of viewers, or maybe just a few million less than them.
A few million, yes. Can I just say, we talked about this earlier.
27 million viewers in those days for a Christmas special.
That's like half the UK population.
I know, yeah.
So did you then end up getting the same pay as the men?
Yeah, we made sure we got the same pay.
Incredible that this is done repeatedly.
Yeah.
And
we
thank
were getting
you for
like
the fight then.
a quarter of what they were getting, and then having a drink in the bar one night, the accountant told us how much they were getting, and the 3 of us said, right, we're getting the same then. And we did, so...
Fair play to you,
Yeah,
fair play.
And you went on, but you've managed to mix your career into doing so many different things. But I get the feeling, sort of, the Loose Women thing, you're kind of at home as that as you are on stage. You managed to fit in and do a bit of everything.
Yeah, if there's ever anything funny or stupid to do, they always get me to do it. They had me dressed up as the Queen once in a horse and carriage, driving around Leicester Square and around Trafalgar Square. And the tourists really thought they made me look like the Queen, honestly. The tourists were like, and I'm going around waving at everyone, and they really think it's me, the Queen, driving around in this horse and carriage.
Right, so look, we've just got in here, we've got a lovely little bit of sea bass. So Kenny's kindly then taken our tomatoes, we've got some garlic, got some olive oil, I've got some basil. We can put a little bit of chilli in there. If you can finally chop me a little bit of chilli, that would be great. And meanwhile, I've got my nice little bit of sea bass over here. I'm going to skin this. You can put the skin on it. Any fish would work really in this, but if you're going to skin it, hold the skin like that, give it a wiggle. The actual skin wiggles, not the knife. You don't move the knife. Hold it where it is.
I'm surprised you've still got all your fingers.
Well, I haven't really. I've got a few chunks out of them, put it that way. But look, you've got a nice little bit of skins off, and then all you do is then we're going to chop this into pieces, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off cooking the pasta and the fish all in the sauce. So we want to bring this sauce down. So this has got the tomato pulp in there and everything else, like the Spanish would have on their sort of bit of bread.
Yeah,
you know, like that. And then we can take our fish, pop it in here. And that goes in. Now, I did see on the book, you've not much cooking in the book, really.
No, not really.
Not that. You're not that.
I'm a bit like my mum, you know, like it was always meat, potatoes and some vegetables. That was it, like lamb chops.
But you like travelling, though? You like...
I like travelling, yeah. My favourite food is Italian. I love Italian food. I like Indian
cue
as well.
This is all right, yeah.
I know, yeah.
No, probably not all in for these lot, I don't think.
A bit lively, that, okay.
Well, that's it. arrabbiata now with all of it in.
He's watched a bit of cooking. He's gone for it. Confidence is soaring through the roof. Actually,
He's got off piste, that's what he's done as well. But look, you take your lovely pasta that you've made. This goes in here as well.
It sounds we done that.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that goes in here. That all mixed together. And we're going to finish off cooking the pasta all in here. That goes in. Are you happy with the seasoning?
I'm not tasty, yes, chef.
Michelin star chef. You know, I think I'm tasty.
And there's some more chilli there if it needs it.
Don't say it's too hot. Salt. Pepper. Happy?
I think I'll be enough.
Yeah. Happy with that?
I'm under pressure now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, let's put some pressure on
How
it.
can you all taste it? It's boiling hot.
Get somebody else to do it.
I think that's fine.
You think that's fine?
I think that's fine.
Happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Good. So we get 3 bowls. Nice little bowls.
Look like dog's bowls.
Well, I could... Look at that. These are from Kenny's restaurant.
Have you not seen the
This is
dog?
64 quid, these dog balls.
We had a dog cooking earlier, so yeah.
The dog was part of
The
the
only
show.
cooking show you're going to get a dog walking around the house, that's it. There you go. But
It smells great, then, huh?
he's not really into fish. He's Ralph, so doesn't like spice, Kenny. There you go. A little bit of that, and then we'll finish this off with a good glug of olive oil over the top. And there we have it. My little bit of homemade pasta with fresh sea bass, with tomatoes, and a little hint of red chilli.
That wasn't a little hint, that was a heap of it.
You're about to find out in a minute, but job done. I think it might need more chilli, do you think?
I think a bit more chilli.
Really?
Excuse the dog bowl.
Yeah. Woof woof.
Right, me and thee have got the pan, Chief.
The fork. It's easiest to eat, listen.
Oh, they're the best thing in it, them little shells.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think we
it's all
did a
down
good job there,
all down
didn't
to
we?
the shape that is
Yeah.
in the...
Lovely that, there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Super
Beautiful.
tasty. Super tasty.
Really nice.
Happy with that?
I was worried about the chilli, but it's all right.
That's all we've got time for today. Massive thank you to all my guests. Janet Oldroyd for that amazing rhubarb earlier. Kenny, Asma, Glenn, and of course, the brilliant Linda Robson. Good luck with the book. The book's out now as well. Good luck with it. We'll see you at the same time next Saturday morning. We'll be joined by chefs Paul Rankin, Leslie Waters, and I'll be tasting summer cocktails from the brilliant Merlin Griffiths, and also joined by newsreader Lucrezia Migliorini. She'll be dropping by as well. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. See you at my house next weekend. Bye for now. Are you washing up or am I?
I think I'll wash up.
Yeah, well...
Ramona's Heavenly Hummus sponsors James Martin's Saturday morning.